Hello lovely people! This week I'm doing a birthday book haul of all the lovely books and then some other slightly bookish related things that I got gifted by some very lovely people in my life this birthday.
Sophie Vlogs.
Before I dive in fully, this is just me saying thank you to all the very lovely people in my life who gave me these things. You're lovely. I hope this is going to be interesting. I've got books, I've got bookish related things. I thought I'd just go through all of them in case like some of them are also of interest. I'm just going to dive into it, I think. Starting with things that my boyfriend got me. So, first book to talk about is The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. I've been hearing a lot about this on BookTube recently. I think it was Problems of a Book Nerd who brought it onto my radar initially. Essentially, this is a fiction book, but it's drawing heavily on the House of Extravaganza and 80s drag ball culture, the types of things that you would have seen if you've watched stuff like Paris is Burning or the fictional TV show Pose, that sort of thing. I love reading about queer history, whether that is in non-fiction or fiction, so this just seemed like something that is just going to be so interesting to read. I've heard that it is, can be a bit heavy at times, which I'm sort of expecting given, like, subject matter, time period, etc. But I'm really excited for this, and I think this is a really lovely edition of it also. I've got a number of really nice editions of books going on this time, which is very exciting. Following up on that is The Golden Thread, How Fabric Changed History by Kasia and Clair. This just sounds so interesting. Another lovely cover, first of all, little gold threads, yes. This is looking at the history of the world through textile, like the way that fabric has helped us evolve, the roles that fabric has had in like political moments, stuff like this. Like, it's just looking all at the history of fabric and the role that it's had in shaping how humanity is, and I just think that sounds absolutely fascinating. I love history, I love like fashion history, I love social history. I think that's what I've pinned down, is I love looking at how things have influenced like how people are. I think this is just going to be something that is going to be so interesting to explore and find out more about. Okay, so just a couple of other things which my boyfriend got me. Kiki's delivery service, because I've never seen it before, and that's a travesty. I got this really nice little bookmark, because you've got to have a bookmark to use in your books, and this lovely pin, which I'm hoping people do that. I think it's to make the camera focus. My camera doesn't focus very well. I'm hoping you can see this. It is the Portland vase, the Wedgwood Portland vase. So it's the Portland vase is a Roman cameo cut vase of about 40 to 30 BC, named after its acquisition by the Duchess of Portland in 1784. Josiah Wedgwood, who is famous for his Wedgwood pottery, made like a replica of it, and this is a pin version of that, because hey, yes. Moving on from that is books that my boyfriend's family got me. So I've mentioned this one already in my Myth Take TBR video, which I posted on Friday. I'll leave a link below in case you want to look at that one. This is Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth. This is a retelling of Rapunzel that is set during 17th century. So there are 3 different women in this. One of them is exiled from the court of Louis XIV, the Sun King, who is one of my favourite historical figures just because of so interesting. Another person is the Muse of Titian, who is one of my favourite artists. And then the third person is the one who is trapped in the tower trying to escape. So I'm really interested to see how these 3 threads sort of like come together and how this story combines all of that. I think it was Jean's Bookish Thoughts that put this one onto my radar. She talks a lot about this particular fairy tale retelling and how good it is. So really hyped for that. Then we've got Sourdough by Robin Sloan. Again, I think this was another one that Cece at Problems of the Book Nerd put on my radar. Lois, the main character of this, is a software engineer, and she lives above a takeaway, and the brothers who own the takeaway are forced out of business, but before they go, they give her their sourdough starter. So as well as like learning how to actually cook, it says on the blurb, she's initiated into a fantastical and possibly fantastically sinister underground world, a secret market that aims to fuse home-cooked food with cutting-edge technology. I just think this sounds really exciting. I really liked Robin Sloan's other book, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, because I think it had a really lovely melding of like programming and computers and stuff with bookshops, and like how both of those are good things, and it doesn't have to be like books versus technology or technology versus books. Like, it can be like technology and books together, which is always nice. And I think Cece said that this was a really lovely read, so again, I hope it is. That was vague. Moving on from that is, my mum sort of did like a botanicals theme with her presents to me this year because we've both been really enjoying the writings of John Lewis Stempel at the moment, who does nature writing and that sort of thing. So I did give a big list to choose from, but she picked out all the things that sort of fit this like botanically theme, which I quite liked, apart from one bit, but we'll go there. So first of all is Botanical Folktales of Britain and Ireland by Lisa Schneidau. I can't remember specifically who it was, but someone on the Mythtake Twitter chat read this book and said it was really good, and I thought it sounded really interesting because I love folktales, I love botanicals, beautiful melding of the two. So whoever you were, I'm very sorry I've forgotten your name, but thank you very much. The bit that is not botanical related is she also got me The Celluloid Closet, which is on my radar because of Rowan Ellis. God, so many things are on my radar because of people. God, BookTube influences my life. But this is a documentary sort of looking at like sexuality in film, specifically like same-sex sexuality in film. But I just thought it sounded really, really interesting, so I'm really excited to sort of dive in and see. The other botanically bits, this was all wrapped in like botanical paper and stuff like this as well, but first of all is this extremely cute little tote bag. It's screen printed with like a honeycomb bee pattern. I will leave a link down below to the Etsy shop that creates this because I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I just think it's really, really cute and adorable, and I'm really into supporting, you know, like independent creators rather than necessarily, you know, shopping at big shops that don't really need my money. I also, everyone that I've requested books off of, I also asked if they could buy them either from independent bookstores or from Hive, because if you buy books online at Hive, they donate a portion of that to an independent local bookstore of yours. So I'm trying to support all of the little indie creators. And then the final thing that my mum got me was she got me these absolutely beautiful hairpins. These are by Witchbury Designs, again, Etsy shop in the link down below. These are specifically the suffragette colours, because it's 100 years since some women got the right to vote, not all women. But I just thought these are really, really cute and adorable, and sometimes I put my hair in ponytails now, and maybe I could put little tiny flowers in it as well as these bad boys. So this is so cute, so cute. Really trailed off there. Okay. After that, my dad continued our tradition of buying me 2000 AD Classics editions, and he got me Slaine by, this is specifically The Horned God plot run by Pat Mills and Simon Bisley. My dad is a really big 2000 AD fan. He was buying them for absolute years, since like the 80s. I've read his comics growing up, so 2000 AD is like a British sci-fi compilation comic, so every issue has a Judge Dredd story in it, but then the other stories in it sort of cycle around depending on what they've like commissioned and stuff. Slaine is inspired by Irish mythology. He's like a warrior. This particular run, according to my dad, is much more of like, has like a bit of a feminist slant to it. It's really exploring like this particular goddess and stuff like that. I have read some Slaine comics within my time of reading 2000 AD, but I haven't read this one before, so I'm just so excited. My dad every year buys me a 2000 AD Ultimate Collection set because he's like educating me in like the really like important groundbreaking ones, or just ones that he thinks I'll really like. Like last year he got me Halo Jones. For Christmas he got me Nikolai Dante, so like it's just a lot of sci-fi fun really, so I'm excited to dive into this one. I was instantly excited because he's reading a scroll with Ogham on it, which is just a nice little detail. Next up is a gift from my lovely friend Mark. This is The 100 Nights of Hero by Isabel Greenberg. I had actually read this already because I got it out of my library, but I have been dying to own it because I adore it with every piece of me, and I'm really excited to do a reread now. This is essentially a retelling of Scheherazade, except for instead of Scheherazade telling stories to her husband to stop him from chopping her head off, generally, this is two women who are in love, and one of them is married to this guy who goes away, and he leaves his friend in charge of watching them to make sure they're not up to any shenanigans, aka they're not having an affair. And so Hero distracts this man every night by spinning out a story for 100 nights. I just think it's absolutely lovely. I've read some of Isabel Greenberg's other things that are set within this like early Earth world, and they're just always delightful. The artwork is delightful, the storytelling is wonderful, and I love it so much. So I'm really excited to actually own this and be able to just reread it and love it. Oh, and then just another bit. This lovely necklace that I'm wearing was a gift from my best friend, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I love it so much. And it's from the Fast Silver Shop, which is one of my favourite jewellery shops ever. So thank you, Rose. You're a sweetheart, and I love you. Finally, I'm going to end on a small run of things that I bought myself. For my actual birthday, I went to see Kinky Boots at the Millennium Centre in Cardiff, and it was really, really great. I cried my heart out when they sang Not My Father's Son, because if anyone else has ever been a little baby queer, hearing that song just like destroys me. But as well as that, it's a really good fun time. But in the day, I did some book shopping and stuff like that. So I did buy myself a couple of books because I have like vouchers and stuff like that. So I'm just going to run through them quickly. The books I got with my book vouchers. This is How You Lose the Time War by Amal, El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. This has been doing the hype rounds on Booktubers, so I thought I would dive onto it. Essentially, there's a time war, and there are two enemy agents from either side, and then they sort of start to sort of like communicate with each other. I think it develops into like a romance, but also like they're trying to stop the time war. I don't know, but it's like sci-fi enemy agents falling in love type thing, which I am here for. And I went to the till twice because I broke the first till. I broke two tills actually. Two of them, while trying to process my transaction, died. So the man sent me downstairs. And both people were like, oh, I've heard really great things about this book. So that made me even more excited. And then the other one I bought in Waterstones was Queer City by Peter Ackroyd. There's a star. This is a star from when I went to Bristol Pride. I keep finding them all over my flat. But this is Gay London from the Romans to the present day. It's just a history of London and all of the sort of like queer history to do with it. And I'm trying to really read more queer history that is based in the UK. I feel like I've read a lot that is like American focused, that sort of thing. So I'm just trying to like dive into a bit more like UK history. So if anyone has any recommendations, that would be really good. Final book is one that I just found in the Oxfam in Cardiff, and that's Forbidden Lives, LGBT Stories from Wales by Norena, Shopland, forward by Geoffrey Weeks. As I just said, try to read more like UK-focused queer history. So I just thought that this sounded like a really interesting exploration of specifically like Welsh queer identity, which is something which I've never read anything about, and I'm really excited to try. So, what an exciting time! Finally, these were not birthday presents. I paid for them out of my own money, but they arrived the day after my birthday, so I am counting them as such. Izzy Ward is one of my favourite artists. They're Bristol-based. I just think their artwork is so beautiful. And I supported their Kickstarter for their pins, which arrived. So, the pins which I got is, maybe if I take them out of the little wrappings, they'll show up better. Ooh. So, the first pin design that I got is Sapphic Sea Witch. I really hope you can see how beautiful this is. There's like little tiny lily pads and little tiny corals and stuff. Yes, 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 yes. And then, because of the level that I supported, I got two pins. So I also got the Bisexual Sorcerer pin, which again is utterly delightful. Look at this little sun, look at the little ring. I love it. So yes, I just thought I would do like a quick little mention because Izzy's artwork is absolutely gorgeous. If you are someone who is interested in little pins, they do, there's a Queer Witch pin, which I own the old design of. I can't remember what the specific names of the other ones were, but there's like a whole range of them. I'll leave a link to Izzy's social media down below so you can go check them out. That is everything. It's just been a really exciting birthday, guys. I know I posted my birthday ramble last week, but essentially, like, I feel really positive about 26, and I'm just, like, here for it. And I'm feeling very loved by all the lovely people in my life. So, that's everything for this week. It's not everything for this week, because there's hopefully going to be a second video on Friday. Haven't decided yet if I'm posting every 2 weeks or twice every week. I don't know. Decisions. Anyway, as per usual, have you read any of these? Do you have thoughts on them? Do you have any recommendations? All this and more, please do feel free to chat in the comments down below. Otherwise, hope you have a really nice day. I'll see you next week for something different.